Isn't it annoying when a movie gets so in your face with a message, only for the meaning of said message to fall flat on its face by the end? The Barbie movie is what happens when an interesting premise and otherwise important themes get undermined by plot holes, poor story direction, and a blatant lack of understanding of what feminism actually is. But what if we gave it a second chance? Tweak the plot holes of the film and literally rewrite the story to where the message of equality makes sense and goes deeper than the surface level 19th century first wave feminism it was going for. Let's give this movie a take two. Even setting aside the throwaway lines meant to gloss over inconsistencies, Barbie Land's foundation is full of cracks. Barbie's claim that Barbie Land fixed everything sets up the film's fundamental irony and its most glaring plot hole. In Barbie Land, the Barbies truly believe they've solved gender inequality, yet when stereotypical Barbie steps into the real world, she's blindsided by catcalls, workplace sexism, and condescension. If Barbie knows women fixed everything in her world, doesn't that imply that she understands what everything was in the first place? How can she comprehend the concept of patriarchy enough to believe it was solved, but have no experiential framework for misogyny when she encounters it? Speaking of the outside world, Barbie and Ken get arrested for stealing, released twice in one day, but with what ID? Fingerprints? And remember, Barbie just told construction workers she doesn't have genitalia. Comedy? Yes, but come on. Gloria, the Mattel employee, knows Barbie exists but doesn't know how Barbie Land functions, or that she herself influences Barbie's existential spiral. A huge missed opportunity to explore the psychological bond between creator and creation. And finally, the connection between Barbie Land and the real world is murky. Psychic, magical, algorithmic. Is there one Barbie per child or a shared archetype? It's not that we demand hard science from Barbie, but if a movie hinges on emotional truth, the narrative glue that holds it together matters. With that said, let's start with our rewrite. In Act 1, we open in Barbie Land, a dazzling matriarchal utopia where every Barbie thrives as president, scientist, author, or doctor, while Ken's live in the margins of Barbie's spotlight, vying for recognition, until cracks appear. She starts having intrusive thoughts about death, her body changes, and she's told she must visit the real world to repair the tear between Barbie and her human owner. Ken tags along, hoping to finally matter outside Barbie's shadow. Here, the premise remains largely untouched, but there are subtle hints for our alternate ending. When Ken discusses his occupation being beach, he asks Barbie how come he never was taught to swim and eventually lifeguard. Second, when Barbie heads over to Weird Barbie's home and is taught what she must do to restore order in herself, Weird Barbie instructs Barbie to bring Ken with her rather than Ken hopping along unbeknownst to Barbie and Barbie Land. Barbie openly groans, insisting the trip would go smoother and take less time in his absence, but her requests are ignored, and Ken happily joins in on the journey, unknowing of the adventure he will truly be embarking on. In Act 2, Barbie and Ken land in Los Angeles, where their realities split. Barbie is shocked to find that the real world is male-dominated, leaving her objectified, dismissed, and disoriented. Ken, however, discovers patriarchy and delights in its power, deciding to import it back to Barbie Land. Meanwhile, Barbie tracks down Gloria and her daughter Sasha, the humans tied to her existential crisis. But when they return, Barbie Land was transformed. The Kens, led by Ken himself, have staged a full patriarchal takeover. Gloria's heartfelt speech about the impossible standards of womanhood awakens Barbie's sense of purpose, and they begin their mission of restoring Barbie Land. Keeping in line with the original, the only change is what Ken brings back. He introduces Barbie Land to a newfound obsession with horses, patriarchy, and the Bible. Not for its meaning, but to justify Ken's takeover. He convinces even the skeptics, Barbies and Kens alike. Meanwhile, in the real world, preparing for the pivotal confrontation in Act 3. Barbie feels defeated until Gloria, Sasha, and the other Barbies rally together. Through clever manipulation, they break the Kens' unity, reclaiming Barbie Land from patriarchy by pitting the Kens against each other using sexuality and jealousy. Ken and Barbie confront each other. Ken admits he only wanted to matter to Barbie, while she insists he must find value in himself beyond her. In the aftermath, Barbie Land reforms. No longer women-only supremacy, the Kens ask for a Supreme Court position, and the President Barbie shoots them down. Barbie steps away from perfection entirely, embracing imperfection, humanity, and mortality, and closing the film as Barbara. Now this This is where we diverge the most. After reminding the other Barbies of their skills and independent opinions, they work to convince the Kens entrenched in the patriarchal thinking to relinquish their newfound privilege. Barbie tries to talk to her Ken, but he dismisses her, kicking her out of the Mojo Dojo Casa house. Weird Barbie suggests using Alan, someone the Kens will listen to, yet not entranced by patriarchy. Alan lures Ken into a room with Barbie. Barbie, seated calmly with her legs crossed, helps him understand. It's honestly exhausting to be a man, isn't it? You're told you have to be strong all the time, but not too strong. Just the right kind of strong, the kind that looks effortless but never asks for help. You're told to protect everyone, but no one ever protects you. You have to have all the answers even when you don't know what the question is. You're not allowed to cry. You can feel sadness, but not show it. You can feel scared, but not admit it. You can be lonely, but never say it out loud. Because the moment you do, you're weak. You're not a man. You have to look a certain way too. Tall but not intimidating, fit but not vain, confident but not arrogant, funny but not too silly. Even your silence has to be the right kind of silence. Powerful, mysterious, controlled. You're supposed to be a rock, unshakable, reliable. But who gets to be your rock? Who catches you when you fall apart? And the irony, that heartbreaking irony, is that this system that tells you to be the protector also tells you to protect other men who cause harm, because that's loyalty. It tells you to fight and yell and win, but never to heal. It teaches you that your worth comes from dominance, from how much space you take up, when all you've ever wanted is to be seen, to be enough, to just exist without performing it all the time. And it's so confusing. Because how can you be everything and nothing at the same time? How can you be a real man when the definition keeps changing and you're never the one writing it? Ken's eyes open wide, and he realizes who he's become. As a team, they recalibrate the other Kens. To one Ken, you love fashion, and you're free to do so. Snap. To another Ken, you don't care what she's wearing, you're gay. And that's okay. Snap. Just as they reach Barbie's Ken, they try all the speeches they have, yet he remains unchanged. He looks Barbie in her eyes and says, if patriarchy is the only way I and the other Kens actually matter here, then so be it. Looking from one eye to another, Barbie is reminded of the men of the real world, and it clicks. You think patriarchy gives you power, but really, it just makes you a prisoner in a nicer cell. It tricks you into believing that control equals happiness, when what you actually want, what every human wants, is connection. And I get it now, Ken. You weren't trying to hurt me. You were just trying to matter. But you already did. You always did. You don't have to prove it by being in charge. You don't have to earn love by pretending not to need it. And with that, Barbie gathers the leadership of the Kens and Barbies alike to discuss Barbie Land's future. Supreme Court positions? Denied. Instead, they create a training program with guaranteed appointments upon completion. Kens request homes. Barbies reluctantly agree. Hours later, Barbie exhales with annoyance at the sight of bustling Barbies moving themselves into her house. Across the street, the Kens lug boxes into the unoccupied homes. Ken, empty-handed and solemn, nods in her direction and disappears around the corner. Following his path, Barbie too disappears. In the final scene, in the serene, all-white in-between world, Barbie looks at Ruth Handler and is told that she must choose. Either stay in Barbie Land and help rebuild the society she both bolstered and helped break, or go to the real world and begin the work in search of equality as a real woman. Barbie looks at her feet and heels and slips them off. Her heels touch the ground, planted flat and firm. Where is Ken? Barbie asks. He chose to be where he could do the most good. He will join the real world and share the houses he never got to own. That is Ken's mission. Would you like to join him? No, that's his purpose. Ken is free of me and is created in his own image now. And you, Barbie? I will stay in Barbie Land, but only if I can have flat feet. Ruth nods and smiles, agreeing with Barbie. To remain on her toes would be to return to a life of convenient naivete, riddled with Barbies physically arching their feet above the Kens. Barbie Land isn't the same now, though. It is a place with space for more human-like, complex problems and emotions, though it always had been, whether Barbie realized it or not. In the original film, Barbie Land is inherently unequal, a satirical mirror to the real world's gender disparities. But its solution isn't a solution at all. It reinforces the prominence of gendered hierarchy, now only tipping the scales under a different guise. The lack of intersectional awareness, ignoring the layered oppression faced by women of color and other marginalized identities, reduces the film's critique to binary, almost cartoonishly white feminist lens. This film communicates the existence of inequality, but refuses to touch what it's needed to actually do anything about it. The Barbies' tactic of pitting the Kens against one another reduces women to sexually manipulative creatures and men as gullible idiots, who are all conveniently straight, by the way. This alternate ending confronts uncomfortable truths. Patriarchy harms men too. It exposes the cost of privilege and systemic harm. Change cannot be symbolic. It requires internal reckoning, top-down action, resource redistribution, and space for historically excluded communities. By exposing the costs of these privileges, the narrative desparkles the seductive illusion of dominance and control, revealing the systemic harm beneath. Barbie transforms from comedic satire to a nuanced commentary on societal structures. Patriarchy is no longer a punchline. It's a shared societal challenge requiring empathy, education, and collective effort. Well, what did you guys think of this ending? Let us know in the comments. Is this improved? Is it worse? How could we have changed it to be better? What would you have done if you had to rewrite this movie? And don't forget to subscribe if you're a fan of movie endings that deserve a second chance.